All right, welcome to Shed Talk. You know what? Things are starting to change a little bit. As you can see, we're in a brand new studio. So Shed Talk has changed its focus. Not that we've changed what we've talked about, but what we've done is change the look, the feel. Because about men's mental health is something that's important to me and important to a lot of men out there over 50. We decided we need a new look. And because we're doing so well out there, we wanted to have a great studio. So we went from the shed, which was a 10 by 10 heated floor system, HVAC, from my garage to say, you know what? People need to hear more about what we're doing. And guess what? Here we are. We built it in the most state-of-the-art equipment, podcast, vodcast system. And this is Shed Talk. And my guest today is Dr. Cheryl Gilbert MacLeod, registered psychologist and co-owner of the Family Psychology Place. Now, most people think that therapy is only about the conversations in the room. But behind every great therapy experience, there's a business model, a structure, a process, a team, and a standard of care holding it all together. Today, we're going to be talking about what people usually and don't see in a therapist clinic and what actually works, how clients are matched, why specification or specialization matters, not specification, but specializations matter, and what challenges comes with building a practice that helps people at a high level. Dr. Cheryl, welcome to Shed Talk. Creating curiosity by asking better questions. This is Shed Talk. Wow. Cheryl, thanks for coming to Shed Talk.
Thanks for having me.
Do you know what? I have to say this because we talk about men's mental health, we talk about therapy, we talk about whatever. This is our first episode in our new podcast studio.
And it is a beautiful studio. I love the colors. It's very subdued, makes you feel very welcome, kind of like a therapy room.
Really? You think it looks like more like a therapy room?
Well, I don't know if that was what you were going for, but I think that having that sense of comfort, that feeling when you're in the room that you feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything scary or uncomfortable. Like I'm sitting in a chair that I'd sit in my own house. I have a beautiful carpet on the floor, just like I would in my own house. And so I'm like, that to me is kind of what we aim for in a therapy room. So I think you did a good job. If that wasn't your goal, I'm sorry.
Well, no. It wasn't the goal of therapy, but actually, what's interesting, because you just brought it up, because a lot of people, and we talk about therapy, and we talk about going to a therapist's office and men especially don't go because we're too proud, we're too honest, we're all that. And then I went for the first time to your office the other day.
Yes.
And I was blown away.
Oh.
And what was really interesting, the feeling that I got, and you just mentioned it here, the carpet, because after I'd left you, I actually went and made sure I had a carpet because that felt warm.
Yeah.
And then the walls and then things there that had to have the carpet on the wall. Well, ours is our sound thing, but how you decorated it. And I had no idea there's actually an intentionality to actually the offices that you have.
Yeah, we do have a lot of intentionality. I think it's really important that the therapists each put their own personality. I don't know if you remember, but there was an awful lot of purple in my office because that's my favorite color. And so for me, that makes me feel at home and warm. And it's also kind of an icebreaker for the young kiddos that I get to see. Guess what Dr. Cheryl's favorite color is?
I wonder if it's purple. No, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So men coming to your facility, and we're going to talk about how do they get there? Like, it's not how they get there. It's like when a man goes there for the first time, and we're going to talk about the business side of it, because we're going to talk about, man, okay, I'm not feeling well, so I pick up the phone, or as a man, but as the business side of it, how do you run that? So the phone rings first. I'm calling in.
Yeah.
How does it start?
We train our administrative staff to do the customer service model the second they answer an email or pick up the phone. They learn the systems behind everything, like the confidentiality, the how to book appointments, all that stuff is super important as well. But the number one thing is making sure that what someone's calling for. So if you are, and especially for a man, because I think you're bang on. They're not the ones who are typically calling for themselves. They might be calling for their child or their teen or something like that. But when they call for themselves, we need to make sure that we're matching them with somebody who has the skills to do what they want, specialize in the areas that they need help with, and that we also can match them where they are. So some people have an idea of what they want when they come into therapy. They're like, I only want to talk to a woman, or I only want to talk to a man. And so I think that from a business side of it, it's making sure that our admin people know inside and out who they are, who our therapists are, who our clinicians are, what they're good at, the type of person that they kind of connect with and how. And, we do a lot of kind of like, we'll do lunches and we'll spend time together. And I really encourage our clinicians to spend time with the admin staff and talk to them about what they like and don't like, because they're the ones who are matching us, right? Like, you can read a bio and you can see my picture. I change my hair all the time. I never look like my picture online. So and I'm not so sure that the words that are described in our little bios are always the best capture. Like, it's 80 to 100 words that describe what I've done in the past 25 years. That's not a lot of words. But the admin staff know who we are. And it's one of the reasons why we don't jump on the online booking, why we're not like, hey, everybody, yeah, you can just go online and book what you want. I'm like, but then you're missing out on that knowledge that our admin staff have.
So as an owner, what has been, so you have your admin staff and you have your team. So we're gonna call your admin staff the gatekeepers.
Sure.
Because the gatekeepers are basically keeping that gate clean so that they make sure that they're funneling to the right people at the right time for the right places. So as an owner, what's one of your greatest challenges with your admin staff and your professionals?
Making sure, that's a good question, Kevin. Making sure that they get the opportunities to meet the clinicians on a level that they know who we are as people, but that also we're expressing what we like to do. Like, there's some really fabulous research that's been out there that said the biggest predictor of therapeutic success is the therapeutic relationship, right? So it's not necessarily the modality, evidence-based care. All of that is very important, but no one's going to do exposure and response prevention or sit in their distress if you don't have a good relationship with your therapist.
So getting to that therapist, so your staff at the beginning is going to start it off, and that interview, because it's like in business as entrepreneurs, and we're growing our businesses, and profit is not a dirty word. We have to make money to give back.
Absolutely.
So everything we do is about profit. So training your initial staff to say, okay, we need to focus on, let's talk, because your specialty is children.
Yes.
Okay.
Mine is.
So yours is children, and then somebody else will be, and I'm assuming they could be men's mental health.
Yeah.
And they would specialize. So you have a wide spectrum for every application to fit in there, correct? Now, with each one of those staff members that are at the gatekeepers, are they interviewing you guys back and forth as well?
I think that what we do is we work really hard on trying to meet them. So, like, we want the gatekeepers, our fabulous admin staff, to spend time with the clinicians. And so we usually do a barbecue in September. I don't know if I would say that they interview us, but I think that.
Would it be more that they would understand, because they would have to understand you? So I'm one of your admin staff.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a call from a distressed man, a child, or so the father, and he's talking about it, and he's going into, you know what, my son is having these problems, anxieties, whatever the storytelling is, because I'm not a therapist or I
Yeah.
don't even know the admin staff process on
Yeah.
that. Oh, actually, let's ask that question. What is that question that they usually ask at the beginning? Because now I'm role playing this and I'm going, wait a second. Can a father pick up the phone and how should his first questions be?
I think that the father just needs to say what the issue is. Like, why are you calling? Like, are you calling because you're concerned about yourself? Are you concerned about your marital relationship? Are you concerned about the fact that your parents are aging and you're struggling? Did something awful just happen to you? Are you concerned about your kids, right? Did you just have parent teacher interviews and the teacher's saying, we're really concerned about your child's reading level and you're floored because you didn't realize that was an issue? Um, if you tell us what the issue is, we will walk you through finding out what it is that you want, what it is that you would benefit you. Like terminology in psychology and social work it's frustrating, right? We love acronyms. We love to call things different things, and people will say, "Oh, I think I need an assessment," and I'm like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And our admin staff or our gatekeepers do an awesome job of being able to figure out what it is that they need, because some of us are very specialized, right? Like some of us only do what we would call a psychoeducational assessment, and they don't do a lot of the counseling part of it. Some of us would only do counseling and aren't really big on the kind of diagnosis or figuring out what's going on. They just want to kind of like help you develop a toolbox. And then some of us do a combination of that.
So you just mentioned about they'd call in there and say, you know what, I need an assessment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is an assessment? Because you said it to me, I'm going assessment. Yeah. What is that?
Again, I guess it depends. There's so many more follow-up questions, right? So we can assess for learning. So if you, even as an adult, are struggling with learning, maybe you're having a hard time in your workplace trying to figure out how things are going. You're always forgetting things. Like undiagnosed ADHD in men is one of the biggest reasons why people don't meet their potential as an adulthood. They lose jobs, they can't maintain them, their relationships are challenged. And so being able to kind of do an assessment and determine whether or not there is some sort of neuroatypicality.
Like on an ADHD. So a man,
yeah.
So you mentioned about men and that don't know that they have a problem with ADHD. Do you find that men will actually call and say, I'm having a hard time here and I can't remember and do this?
Yeah.
And then just to pick up the phone to ask that question, because that's the first time I'd ever heard of that.
Yeah.
That to say, it's okay to ask about that.
100%. Those are the sorts of things that we do, right? Like, so trying to figure out why, like, life is not easy, right? Hopefully there are moments of easiness. But when you know what the playing field looks like, when you know what the cards that you've been dealt, almost like two things right there, but like it helps you figure out what's going on, right? Like, if you haven't been taught to advocate for your needs as a child because no one's helped you kind of walk those things through, then ask those questions as an adult, right? Like, what is the reason why you're struggling to get ahead? What are the reasons why, like communication with your spouse or your partner is so challenging? Like that's an assessment, right? Like, so what is going on? So sometimes it's actually looking at just straightforward mental health. What's going on? What's the long-standing pattern of behaviors and emotional dysregulation, or the things that have been challenging for you? Why is it that you can, spend 2 weeks up on a camp and life is perfect? Everything is super organized. And then you come home and you fall apart, right? Mm-hmm. Why? We can help figure that out. That's an assessment.
Okay, so seeing how the assessment. Now, on the business side of that, so you find the assessment, you get there and say, okay, we need to do an assessment.
Yeah.
Then, as the owner, how are you pegging them? To which area? So I'm coming in, I'm a man, we're going to assess me, okay, ADHD, so we're going to start there. Now, interviewed, they put me to you or to somebody.
Yeah, definitely not to me.
Definitely
but
not to you.
okay.
And then to somebody, then I have that conversation. Now, how do I know that it's going to work or that's the right person for me?
We hope that we've done a good job matching you with somebody. Um, I would say to you that the very first conversation I ever have with a family that's in my office is acknowledging the fact that that therapeutic relationship is so very, very, very important, right? Um, uh, my grandfather and my dad is British, and so I use the expression, "I'm not everybody's cup of tea." And I'm like, so you have to advocate for that. So if you're doing we're doing an intake, which is what we call the first appointment, and we're having a conversation. If you don't feel like you're connecting with that person, you have to say, I don't know about this. And sometimes that's really hard to do.
Right.
But then when you walk out, we encourage you to then kind of talk to the admin staff and say, I don't know about that. That wasn't what I was expecting. Because we're human beings too, and our personalities come out, right? I'm fairly structured in my therapeutic approach, and again, not everybody's cup of tea.
All right. So let's talk about the cup of tea. Okay.
Yeah.
So not everybody's cup of tea. So the customer, I'm there. You're not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. Now it becomes a referral basis. Do you refer to somebody else? Because they're coming in there and that's a revenue stream.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming because they're coming in, you want to make sure that you find the right place, right person, because you'll have a list of 10, 15, 20 people. Now, if I'm incorrect how I'm saying that, stop me because I'm looking at the business side on both sides. So they're coming in there. They say, you're not my cup of tea. I'm going to go elsewhere. Or do you recommend do they ever say, can you recommend somebody?
Yes. And that's usually where we have almost 35 clinicians. So we have a large group of people that we can find somebody for. And again, I've been doing this for over 25 years. How many times, I know it's happened that people don't like me. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's okay. I have people that don't like me and it's all good.
But I think that sometimes it's when you talk to someone about that therapeutic alliance is so very, very important, and that match is so very, very important. I think even that in and of itself allows the person to be like, and then it's easier to kind of develop a relationship
Right.
with somebody that has acknowledged the fact that if I'm doing something that you don't like, tell me.
Hey, take a minute and smash that subscribe button. And let's get back to the episode. Now you're running a business.
Yeah.
Okay. The therapy side's here. And yes, you care 100%. Of course you do. You wouldn't be doing this if you didn't care.
Yes.
But there's still a business side to that.
Yeah.
And them not coming on board, and yes, you have 35 to be able to do that. Do you find sometimes where becomes the greatest challenge in that balancing act? Because as an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
okay, and you have nights that you're not sleeping. You have to build this business up. You've just got slammed with it. You got to do you got to do social media. You have to be on a podcast. You're going through all these challenges, yet you still have to have the clinical ability to look out for the kids that you're doing and being there with them. Where do you find the greatest challenge? Your reward would be being able to talk to the kids and help the kids. That's a great reward.
Absolutely.
Okay? That's the reward. Now let's get a little deeper because then all of a sudden that's your reward. Now the business side of it. Where's the biggest struggles on that side? Or maybe there's not.
Do you know what?
I say that, but
I would consider myself to be extremely lucky in that in the last year, the team at the Family Psychology Place has been an extremely rewarding place to be. there's lots of really amazing clinicians, and we are not cookie cutter. We all do different things. We have different specialties, but I think that there's an underlying um, desire to see the ship sail and be successful.
And we all want to be successful
Mhm.
because they all work in your company.
Yeah.
We all want to move forward. We all
Yeah.
want to be the best. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's your culture. So you've
Yeah.
built a huge, beautiful culture and everybody's on board.
Yeah.
They're all drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Or you're the cup of tea.
Or-
We're all drinking
say
the tea.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah, what's it Kool-Aid? They're all so they're there. But as an owner, as an entrepreneur, and you get in this, because I've been in businesses, okay,
Mhm.
from the construction industry, entertainment industry, all that side of it, but not on the health side of it. And looking at this, it seems to be a whole different business is still business,
Mhm.
but the stresses that would carry on because you're dealing with someone's emotions, they're the therapy, and where men don't go and talk, where you have to be dialed in and go from there. So what is that challenge?
But I think you just said what the challenge is. It's like getting the people to come in the doors, right? Like, it's that spending money on mental health when not everyone, like, and again, leaps and bounds ahead of where we used to be in terms of acceptance of mental health and understanding of mental health. Um, with men still being the ones that are the hardest to kind of do that and recognize that. And I think that that's where the challenge is, how do you access those people who don't necessarily see therapy as a valuable tool, don't understand it?
Is that like an untapped market?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I think it's been an untapped market for a long time. And
Yeah.
like, um, I'm the mom of 3 young adults. My son turned 20 yesterday, so I no longer have any teenagers in my house. Um, it is very cool to see how how they recognize mental health and how they can have the conversations. Like if I talk to them about, like, it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay to set a limit and say, no, I'm not okay when you do that. My kids would probably tell you that having a psychologist as a mom was not the best thing ever.
I was just going to ask what kind of growing up statue that they would have to, like, who they have to become, seeing because you're in child psychology,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're growing up and they're seeing eyes wide open, like
Yeah.
the
Well,
gifts they get.
I would hope that they considered them gifts, but I don't know if that's always true. um, but I think that you asked about the challenge, and it would be making sure that we're able to service and help people from all areas and making mental health more accessible to those pockets of people where it hasn't been. With men's mental health, the construction industry, my husband grew up in the construction industry. One of my kids is in the construction industry. Um, it is challenging, right? And mental health is hard.
And I'm gonna alliterate on that and talk a little bit more about that, because it's interesting. Because I had mentioned about it being a fad, not a fad, but all of a sudden untapped market. And we look at men, and so I'm 58 years old. We don't know we're in jail until we break out. We don't know there's a problem until we recognize, well, wait a second, I'm overweight. I never thought I was overweight until I'm in shape. You don't know you're in shape until you're in shape.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about mental health is men finally being able to open up. Here I am, 58, being able to open up, and never knew I actually had a problem, or it wasn't even a problem, but just to be able to have that conversation first. And it was trending. So it seems like men, the woke crowd was, here was the woke crowd. Here's women's, there's lots for women. Okay.
Yeah.
Women have a menopause. They have this, and I'm using this as a there's a book written on everything, but men don't. But now we're starting to see the construction industry, and I'm in the construction business. And yes, it's boots, your hard hat, and this, and we have a tailgate and we talk, but nobody talks about, and it's so important, is about the mental side of it and the mindset and what does that look like. And you're on a job site, and then all of a sudden you've been drinking the night before, and men don't talk to other men. Maybe you shouldn't get on that ladder. Maybe you should just take the afternoon off. And I had a meeting today with a guy, a site super, not a site super, but the safety committee.
Yeah.
And we're talking about men's mental health. And he says, "Oh, I'm really keen on doing it." And it all come back to the actual, yes, we have PPE, yes, we do this, but the mental side hasn't come up, and it's now starting to show up. And it's not that it's trending, it's being more vocal, and we're be able to see it. And men over 50, and you'd mentioned to me before we started the conversation, she says, "Hey, is it okay to talk about this?" And I'm going to leave that with you right now to talk more about that question. I'm going to let you ask the question so we can dig down deeper in that one, because it was amazing.
Yeah. So I believe that men over 50 are in a unique position to show the younger generation that talking about mental health is important. And I think that the experience that of growing up, because we are around the same age, that and I grew up with brothers, there was still very, well, no, you don't have to get up and shovel the snow. That's your brother's job, but I need to be doing the dishes. And then it was okay for me to cry, but it wasn't okay for the boys to cry. And, you have to take care of your sister. But I was never, like, I'm expected to care for my brothers. But I think that my brothers are in their 50s. They now, having had children and having children that are like in the 20s, we can now start to teach them about communication and boundaries and emotions, right? Like, every emotion on the planet is valid. It's what you do with it that is the most important thing. And so being able to express your emotions, talk about them, like, nothing drives me more crazy when someone says something like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about that." I'm like, no. I am allowed to worry about it. But now maybe we need to problem solve it, right? Like, don't tell me what I can and can't feel. But now let's talk about what I can control. And I think that is where the more men we can get on board with that, our next generations are going to be so much more able to communicate about things. And let's be clear, women are not that much better at this than men are. We might be slightly better at asking for help. But women are just as bad as saying, "Don't worry about that," or "There's nothing to be sad about," or, like, just back up, right? That's not helpful.
What's been one of the greatest gifts, and abilities that you find that you have in your organization?
Gifts for in the organization? Like,
it can be anything.
anything.
It's your superpower.
Oh, my superpower.
What makes you absolutely over the top? Your Superman, Superwoman.
My superwoman, my super person.
And don't say it's because I communicate well.
No, I would never say that. Because I wouldn't say that I'm a
Always say you're a
fabulous
good
communicator. I think
communicator.
I'm okay at communicating.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think? It's my ability to connect with somebody. So, like, and be able to develop a connection, and a real connection, without it feeling fake. And so when I meet somebody, whether I'm meeting them because they want to be part of the admin team or whether they want to be part of the clinical staff, I think I'm pretty good at recognizing who's going to, you talked about the Kool-Aid a little
Yeah.
while ago, but like, who's going to be the purple Kool-Aid? Because that's the color Kool-Aid we drink at the family psychology place.
Yeah.
Who's going to like that? And I think that that's probably my superpower, is being able to figure out that person's going to be able to offer something that we currently don't offer, and then have a relationship with that person, establish a relationship with that person.
So it's interesting how you make that sound, as then when you're communicating with your clients in your therapist room, in here, chair to chair,
Yeah.
ceiling is everything, and having to truly listen. And as an entrepreneur, having to take those same traits and actually truly listen and understand what culture you have to build to drink the Kool-Aid, the purple, or the tea you're going to
Yeah.
drink, and that how it actually all still comes back to business, because your group, your family, the people that are coming together are exactly like your clients. They have gifts and they have needs and they have abilities.
Yeah.
And then recognizing and listening to what they need. They may not be the right fit for you today, but knowing that they may go somewhere else, just like your clients are going, they may not be the right fit, but we'll find a place for them.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that one statement that you said actually summed everything all up about your business, and summed out of what you stand for.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any questions or anything out there that you want to ask or want to talk about?
Since
Or
I'm
what's missing?
what's missing? I don't know if I could say what's missing. I really wish that people would give therapy a chance, because what we consider to be therapy, it's often like this. It's conversations, right? It's helping you. Like, there's some really good tenets to therapy. The number one is, like, what is that we can actually control, right? And I think sometimes just having somebody else who's not vested, like, we're all vested in wanting the people who come in our door to feel better, but we're vested because we went into this profession because we have a genuine empathy and a desire to make the world a better place, right? Like, I don't want people to be struggling with mental health. I want people to be able to advocate for themselves. So what is it that makes somebody walk in the door? And I don't know if I know that.
So, okay. So I'm going to ask you, do you have a therapist?
No, actually, I don't.
How come?
You know what? I'm blessed.
Okay.
Um,
Is it the things you know that you don't know? So
it's possible, but I have a really nice relationship with my parents. I have a nice relationship with my siblings. I have a wonderful relationship with my husband, and I have amazing friends.
Do you have a business mentor?
My relationship with my business partners is very collegial, and it is a very give and take, and we all are very good at recognizing the things that we're good at,
right?
And the things that I'm like, that's not like, someone else needs to take care of that piece. And so I don't know. Why don't I have a therapist? It's a really good question.
And the reason why, because I'm actually getting to something here, because as entrepreneurs, we work our tail off, male, female, whoever we are. Is there work-life balance? No. Today I need to work in the business 100%. Tomorrow I'll need to be away from the business for 100%. So we're ebb and flows. We're all over the place. But what's interesting is a lot of men, and I'm only going to speak as the men's side because I'm on the men's side, is that I went to an event the other day and I'd asked the same question. I said, so how many guys here you're all entrepreneurs, you're all here, you're all stressed, you have your good days, your bad days, you're this, and you get hit hard. Like, some people, they bootstrap how their businesses are run, and they have great families and they love their families. They don't want to bring that over because they're the guys. Okay. And where does it come into play that actually, how many of you men now out there actually have a therapist? To have someone to talk to on a therapy level, to actually go to and have that communication and finding the right one, and to talk about your entrepreneurship, not your wife,
Mm-hmm.
not your husband, not your girlfriends or wherever that comes in. And it was interesting. There was I think we had about 50 to 60 people there and only 3 hands went up. And it was interesting and going, that's the first step is actually as entrepreneurs is to have that conversation
Mm-hmm.
that it's okay to see a therapist about whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to throw that at you this way.
Yeah. And
Because we don't know we're in jail until we break out.
Yeah.
How do we know we have an issue? I didn't. So here's the thing. I was growing up. I drank every day till I was 50. I didn't think I had an issue. I don't have an issue. Are you kidding? That's just the way life is. I can go out. I drink from 3 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
to 6 o'clock. Hey, it's okay. But until you stop, then you realize and you go, oh, maybe that was a problem. Because you don't know you're in jail until you break out. And then all of a sudden, until someone actually, it's not that they tell you, because your wife tells you this or your husband tells you this all the time. And you just go, oh, I didn't know that was actually an issue till somebody, eyes wide open.
yeah.
So a very interesting experience.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know. I still don't know what it is that makes someone pick up the phone.
Mhm. Well, because you know why? Because they know you're great at what you do. And the thing about picking up that phone call is to have that first question. I need an assessment. Well, what's an assessment? Well, you know what? It's just I'm just not feeling right. And then to ask that first question and it's okay. Pick up the phone, have that conversation.
Mhm.
What's your email? What's your guys' website?
www.familypsychologyplace.com.
And you know what? Pick up the phone,
Yeah.
go on your computer, dial that in, put it in there, and just ask yourself for the first one. Just have a conversation with yourself and just say, just need somebody to talk to. Just have a conversation with. And then that's the first step that happens. So I want to thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Dr. Cheryl Gilbert MacLeod. I had to make sure we got that in, for coming on Shed Talk. Now, do you have one question that you want to ask me or anything?
Hmm.
You don't have to, but that's
No,
okay.
you know what? Can I ask you, because we met
Mhm.
at your TEDx talk. I'm curious what made you want me as a guest on your podcast? Because I was deeply honored, but also a little surprised because I was like,
And you know what the question was and because I didn't know, so if I had the question, so the question when you're asking why I have you on is because I didn't know I have therapists on there, but you hit the therapy as in with children, but you are as an entrepreneur. We talk to so many. Well, we talk about men's mental health, how we get beat up. We're all this happens. There's a guy with suicide. This happens, but then all of a sudden, talk about there's actually a business which is therapy.
mm-hmm.
But as an entrepreneur, understanding the two aspects, because in business, and I got to hear a different perspective, because how can you run a business and you have integrity and you're able to communicate and talk. And then when I went to your office and I walked through there, that was the first time I had ever seen a therapist office. Yeah, first time ever. And then walked through the doorway. It was reminding me of a dentist's office, but because of the kids. And then going over there, and then once I got through, then I saw the offices, and it was like, oh wait, these are like pods. These are like offices. This isn't okay. There's no dentistry.
Yeah.
There's no doctor, and it didn't feel clinical. It felt so comfortable. And then at that moment when I was talking to you, the comfortness and feeling comfortable, and that's why the carpet was here, by the way, because when I had that meeting with you, it was about what's the things that I know that I didn't know. And that's why I asked you about the therapy, going, well, what's the difference as a man going to get therapy? Do you have therapy? Do you have a therapist? No? Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a different thing. And so I thank you for being on here. I honor you for this because it's something that I don't know. And if I don't know, and I ask the question, and I'm sure my other listeners don't know either, but it gives them the opportunity to ask you another better question.
Well, I loved being on, and I just thrilled that you asked me.
Thank you.
And it's a little bit weird to consider myself an entrepreneur because I never thought I would be an entrepreneur.
We all think that.
I know. But
And
it's
that little guy on
very
our shoulder
weird.
saying, oh, you can't do it, you can do it. Yet you're doing something you love and the passion, you believe in it, and you're talking, you're communicating, and you're making it happen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. You know what? If you guys like it, hit share, subscribe, go online, go over there, check it out. And what's the website again?
www.familypsychologyplace.com.
Thank you very much for being on.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kevin.
Thank you. Now you know. Shed Talk.